Hello, Wargamers. It's the Amy Snuggs and Dready gaming show with Remington Steel. It's the Amy and Dready gaming show and keeping it real. Talking about Amy's awesome painting and anything else that is cool. And it's not here, so we'll have a great time and we'll make up the rules. Hey, ba 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 da da ba 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 da da da.
There we go. There we go. Very nice.
Very good. That's excellent.
Yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the apparently Ram and Dready show this time because Andy couldn't make it. And let's say hello to our wonderful audience. I actually don't know who the first person was to comment because YouTube ate all the comments again, but we will just go from top to bottom. We have YouTube Newbie, we have MC1 Gamer, Scroll Stuff, Malte, Moiti, Graffelmann, then Skeleton Flower, MC1 Gamer again, Slugwitch. If you want to have your name called out, then just comment right now. Because I guess a lot of people were chatting before and it just got eaten. Drunken_elf again. I saw Mr. Grimrick, my beholder buddy, in here. And Tabletop Minions, hello. Mickey Geneva. Pretty White. And Redface. Redface is a great name. Hi, Baker.
I'm Mickey Gender. I think that's a great rock and roll name.
Das Plagueis 01, 101 even. And Barrett Muscleman. And Bernard Bernoulli, I guess. And that's all the names I find right now. So, how is everyone doing tonight?
They're doing great, and most importantly, Dready, we've got our special guest tonight, Miss Amy Snuggs.
Indeed.
All the way from up north in sunny Hull, City of Culture.
Yep.
Going to talk about all her wonderful work that she's been doing. So welcome, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're quite welcome.
It's a pleasure. Welcome to the show.
So we understand, Amy, this is your first ever hangout.
Yes, it is. Trying to get used to it all, but no, it seems pretty okay. So it's the first live show I've ever done, ever. So hopefully it goes okay.
Well, guys, if you've got any questions for Amy, because me and Dready have got plenty, if you've got any, obviously sensible ones, then put them in the comments box. We're going to be looking at some of her terrific award-winning painting work with Warhammer models.
Indeed, featured in White Dwarf.
And the thing that makes me most not shocked but jealous is the fact that you've only been painting like what, a year or year and a half?
Yeah, year and a half. Yeah.
Which is amazing, really, because I've been painting for about 20 years, and you kind of reach a plateau, let's say, and it's just sort of downhill from there as you just lost thousands of models. But you just seem to be going up and up and up, Amy, so, we're all in awe.
Indeed, it's nuts. Like, I also paint for 20 years, and my highest standard is alright, but still not up there. Alright, before we go into a deep conversation with Amy, let's quickly talk about the news, shall we? The exciting GW news right now. I have some pictures prepared. We all have seen the last chance to buy option on the GW site. And apparently, a lot of things are already sold out, like the Hell Cannon and Throg and Gallrauch And that Skaven dude. What was the Skaven dude?
I love the way you pronounce that. Galrach.
Gallrauch. Yeah, I think it should be pronounced more German, like Gallrauch.
There was a few surprises in there last week, as you mentioned, Throg, because that model's only a couple of years old, and the Hell Cannon's always a sought after miniature. If it ever goes up on eBay, if it starts off at £5, it will always end up between £30 and £40 no matter what. So it surprises me that came up on this page. Sold out actually doesn't surprise me. It's a beautiful model.
Indeed.
So I don't know. What do you think? Why? Why is it?
I hope it will just be a repackage on a round base, because I still hope to have one myself at some point. So I don't want to pay ridiculous eBay prices if I can avoid it.
I mean, not so surprising is what's on the bottom right there. I know it's a little bit blurry, but they are the Forsaken models, which when they first come out, I'm thinking, oh, these guys are brilliant. There's so many options there, but like a moron, I ended up buying that myself. And get the models, and it's like a, So
yeah.
Disappointed with those. I mean, individually, the little bits and bobs and tentacles and funny-looking heads you get are really cool, but when you put them together, they look a bit. Well, compared to the new models, they look a bit first grade, I would say.
Yeah, indeed. So they might be on this page for quite a while. Fun fact though, the Hellcat is actually not sold out in the US and in some other countries as far as I've seen when I looked at the GW site yesterday. So if you have buddies in the US and you really want that model, just let them order it for you if it's still there, I guess.
Sold out in the UK as well as Throg, and everything else that you just shown is sold out in the UK.
Amy, what do you think about Chaos Dwarves?
I don't know really. I haven't really seen them that much, to be honest. They do seem quite cool. They've got some nice big things, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean it's been a point of contention for years, you see, because they've been in like the fluff for a long time, but they weren't considered a proper army in the 8th edition rules. And then Forge World started bringing out a whole range of beautiful and expensive Chaos Dwarves. And
those are nice, but I will never own them.
No, and with the Age of Sigmar, then a book came out called Tamokan, which is a pretty awesome book about a Chaos invasion, and they included a whole Chaos Dwarf army list. So suddenly they were allowed in 8th edition, and they're a really tough army. But with Age of Sigmar, they've kind of all the war scrolls are there for them, so they're still around. But it seems that they've been lumped into the Chaos faction. And on that front, there's a new book, Chaos book, right?
Yeah.
There's a big new Chaos army tome, and I think Chaos Dwarves are in there too.
That would be neat if they were. I would quickly say hi to Dieter, to Elena Menesius, to Stu Gibson, John Mills, and it's all the new names I read right now. There you go.
Stu Gibson, the legend.
Indeed.
He's never lost a game of Age of Sigmar. But, yeah.
So, the other news, apart from the sold-out models that you might still get when you have buddies in the US or you live in the US or something, is that GW announced on some games convention that they will bring out these kits right here, which are boxes of pre-colored spruce, model spruce. So the orcs are already green, so you don't need to paint the skin color. Bundled with some tiny paint pots, one brush, a bit of glue. And I think they're aimed at kids just to introduce them to the hobby. What do you think about that step from GW?
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, I teach music in the school, but I also teach art. And when you give the kids the first few lessons, right, they only get 5 colours or 4 colours, and it's those colours there. So whenever I see that, I just think of school. And it's good for the kids. I mean, I can imagine this in normal toy shops. I think that's where it's aimed for.
It is, yeah. It will be at Toys R Us and stuff.
Good thing, it's good for a new generation of people to maybe find some interest in it. You know.
I think it's a great idea because if you think about, you get people that come into a Games Workshop and they want to buy like a present for, their son or daughter or whatever, and so I think most of the time people get put off because of the price of buying into it. Have you heard recently they've been doing like a Battle Brothers campaign in Games Workshop where you can get like vouchers and things? That's I think that's been pretty good, but I think this is a good way to get people, sort of into it really cheaply and hopefully, get them into the hobby. And the more people in the hobby, the better, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. It's fair to say now, looking back, the hobby was stagnating with an elite group of old gamers, really competitive gamers, and it didn't feel like any new gamers were coming along. And I say gamers, that's it's expanded term of people interested in the hobby. 'Cause statistically, more people just get models to paint them than actually play the game.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. There's a lot of people who just enjoy building and painting. Yeah. And I have to say, back in the day when I started, I would have loved those boxes because I started playing orcs, 40k orcs in 1995. And if I had a box like that, just with the starting out colors and the glue and everything just bundled together, that would have been amazing. I might just have gotten 3 of those already, had a good stock of paint already. Sure. And some brushes to go through, and that's just the basis for an army. So
have you got a price on those, Dready?
There was a price, and I don't think it was as cheap. I remember something around 25 quid, I want to say right now.
Oh, bigger ones though. I think I remember seeing one that was like £10 for was it a bike or something?
Yeah, it might be a bike. Yeah, there were different price levels, like big and small boxes. So I guess the big ones will be around 30 quid and the small ones, as you said, like 10 quid. Which is alright, really. Not really pocket money level yet, but, good as a gift.
It's all there. It's a great present, isn't it? You got paints, paintbrush, models. You're ready to go, aren't you? Glue.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. It's just a theory that I personally have. I have no rumors on this, nothing, but with GW going this step of introductory boxes that will be available in toy shops, they might actually make a Warhammer 40k, or I guess AoS is already free. Maybe they will make boxes for AoS 2 like this. They will make a free 40k rule set maybe at some point, so that might be a possibility in the future. And who knows what that will bring. No one expected AoS to be what it is today. It would be hilarious if 40k lost its points. I would have a good laugh.
Well, I like the artwork on the front as well.
Yeah, it's just... I mean, we have already seen it in codices. What I like, so they recycled some of the really old artwork. Like on the orc box, behind the big box, there's like older artwork for the orc war buggy, I think. Cool. And I just love the old orc pictures and everything. It's neat.
I mean, I have to, I avoid 40k stuff simply because I've got a very addictive personality, and I could easily find my way into buying some, space orcs and stuff, and then
oh yeah,
that yellow brick road could lead me to ruin. So
oh yeah, I bought and painted and sold so many armies just to fund my hobby. It's not even funny anymore. But yeah, so that's really neat. Also, they are bringing back the old orc war buggy from Gorka Morka times, which with these boxes, and that's amazing to me personally, but not really AoS related. So
Andy was always mentioned Gorka Morka quite a lot. So yeah, I'd love to give that a try. It looks like a lot of fun. And when we were at Warhammer World, we looked at some of the models in the cabinet that weren't painted in the Forge World bit, and there's some really cool orc buggies and goblin little tanks and stuff with all the Nazi helmets on. They look like a lot of fun. So if that's anything to do with Gorka Morka, I'm game for it.
Gorka Morka is hilarious. Also because you just have such a small model count that you can just have a go, get a few models, get like a little buggy and convert it. Okay. And it's amazing. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. So what else have you got there, Gloom?
Let's see. So our next topic is the reasons why AoS is perfect for beginners and the simplicity of the rules that might actually bring new people into the hobby, which a lot of people scoff at, like, oh, those simple rules, I don't like them, but I personally love them. I think Amy might have to say something about that, maybe,
About the rules for what? Sorry.
for Age of Sigmar. Did you play before as the Age of Sigmar came out?
Well, a little bit of 40k, but I mean, I wouldn't say I was, I played a lot. I think the rules for AOS really kind of helped me get into actually playing, any sort of wargaming really, because of how easy it was to pick up, and the fact that you didn't have to kind of read a massive rule book and remember all these different special rules, because that's kind of the thing that puts me off 40k in a way, because of just remembering like so many different things, and everything's spread out all over lots of different books. You've got your rule book, you've got your codex, you've got maybe other books that you need to have, and so I think that did kind of put me off. So I think AOS was, because of how simple it is, that really did draw me in.
It's true. It's true. I personally love it because I am such a screwhead that I just can't remember more complex rules, even though I play for 20 years. Like 40k, I still make so many mistakes. It's hilarious. But AOS, I was just able to plop it down and play it without... It's really relaxing to play it because you don't have to look up stuff all the time and get into crazy rules discussions and everything.
Yeah, sometimes I felt that with a edition, I would lose games, and I'd lose a lot of games because I didn't know enough of the rules about the other armies and what my army was capable of, rather than intuitive tactical knowledge.
Indeed.
Maybe with AOS you can just it's more fun, and you can have that intuitive tactical ability rather than because you've memorized a bunch of stuff, or
Yeah, I had the same problem with 8th edition, also because I have like, what's the word? It's dyscalculia. So I have a really hard time doing math in my head. Like I have to focus a lot, and I make really simple, stupid mistakes. And with 8th edition, you had to do all that close combat resolution stuff that drove me nuts, and I would make so many mistakes just in that sometimes it put me off even playing games on some days, just because of the crazy complexity, and it would just be the same outcome as a simpler game like Kings of War. It would just be the same. So
I think you were saying things like, what did you need to roll in order to get a hit, and what your strength and all of that. It was just I don't know, too difficult to get my head around, so I didn't really like it.
Yeah, you're constantly looking through rule books and army books just to figure out what you can do next, and you'd always forget stuff, and you'd often make massive errors or lose out because you just forgot something because it's too complicated.
Yeah, like I felt like I couldn't relax. Like I'd be stressed playing the game because I didn't know what I was doing, and then I'd feel bad for the person I was playing, and so it's a shame really, because I mean I do like the models. I mean if they ever did do to 40k what they've done to AOS, then I think I'd be skint forever.
The other thing, Amy, is that sometimes you just felt like a right mug because you'd spend months, if not years, painting a gigantic army, making it nice. Filled it on the table, and you'd get absolutely pummeled over the course of 2, 3, 4 hours. And at the end, it's just this exhausted feeling in your head because all the maths you've just done. And how you think, oh. But with AOS, the games are a lot quicker. So okay, you lose a game, but you can just have another one, and your brain's not frazzled.
Yeah, I think the difference that I've mainly found is whenever I kind of played a 40k game, if I did eventually go on to lose, I kind of realised that I was losing like quite early on, and I don't know if that's because I'm not very good at gaming or whether it's the game itself. I feel like I've never ever played a game of 40k where it's completely turned on its head and gone to the other side. Whereas every Age of Sigmar game that I can think of, pretty much, it's pretty much, you know, gone from each side all the time. And one turn you'll be pretty much feeling like you're going to win in the next turn. The next turn comes, and then the other person
Yeah.
they're going to win. And I like that, and I think it's because the times when you feel like you do feel dejected. It's like you spent all that time painting, and I'm one of those people. I don't really like painting. I don't really like playing with without painted models. So I do like to play as best as I can with a full army that's painted, or mostly painted anyway. And I remember once I'd like spent so much time painting my Blood Angels, and like the first game I played, I absolutely got thrashed. And I don't know if that's because I didn't know how to play it, but I think with AoS, I've never had a game where I've been like completely thrashed from the beginning. So yeah.
Right. Fun fact, apparently the audience can completely not see the show live, even though it's live. It's not being broadcasted live to the audience at all. So
Oh, really?
I would say we just keep carrying on, do the show, and then hope that the recording will be alright.
Okay.
Because it's just everything as it should. We are live. I'm using Andy's account. It's weird. It's really weird.
Can they hear us?
They can't see anything. It just says the show is starting in a bit, and it's really confusing why it's not actually broadcasting.
Have you sent the correct link?
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the right chat and everything, so...
Well, we could carry on, or we could just close it and start a new one straight off.
Oh, that would be crazy. Because I don't know all of the Andy settings that he does for it. And I'm very sure that this show will just save after it's done. Because it says live, it's rolling.
Okay.
It's just not broadcasting. I mean, I had similar problems on my channel.
But you can see it later on.
Yeah, the people will just have to... Oh, man. Good thing Andy trusted us with the show tonight.
Yeah, I guess if we spent all the time carrying on with the shirt to then find out it didn't even do it, it's almost like, oh.
Yeah, I guess we will just carry on doing the show. I will talk to the audience in the chat a bit and tell them not to be sad. They will be able to see it soon. So that will be alright. It will be alright. So it's just like recording a show right now, I guess. Which is sad because live audience, but it's alright. So yeah, I completely didn't listen to anything you two just discussed the whole time because I was just looking at chat and going nuts because the show is not live. But
you posted the link again on the chat page. Try it.
It's the same link.
All right.
I can.
Is it maybe worth just? I mean, well, we have not talked about a lot yet. I'm just thinking because otherwise we've got quite a bit left to talk about, and if it doesn't save, then
it should save. Like it should do that. Like there's no reason for it not to save. It's just weird that it's not going live when we send it live.
Okay.
But I mean, I had this thing. Man, that's annoying.
Where's Andy?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything differently than normal. We didn't change any settings at all. Let me have a look at this. I will just quickly pop the link that I have right now for this show into the Facebook group, and we will see if it's...
Do you think it could be anything to do with... Because on the thing, when I've just opened it up, it says live stream is starting soon, 8:57 p.m. Now, could it be anything to do with the fact that... Because obviously you're an hour ahead, aren't you? I don't know if that could do anything.
Maybe. Maybe.
But,
I don't think so. Normally when you click go live, it just goes live.
Yeah.
No. That shouldn't be the problem. I will quickly... think here. Here, there we go. And tell people. There we go. Yeah, let's just carry on.
Okay.
We can't change it now anyway, so. But we just talked about the rules, so yeah, Amy, let's talk about your roads to painting. What is it? The painting stardom, being featured in White Dwarf and everything. How did it come to that? And so quickly, even it's nuts.
Well, the White Dwarf thing, basically, I put on Instagram and was posting some of my photos on there, and one of the photographers from White Dwarf contacted me from there and asked me to basically arrange with him to take my models down to Warhammer World because he liked them and he wanted to include them in White Dwarf and Visions. So I arranged to go down and took them down in like all the cases and crates that I could find, and yes, it was a bit of a nerve-wracking drive down, I must admit, trying not to make sure things, would break, and especially the Dreadsaurian, because obviously he couldn't fit in a case or anything, so he had to go in a crate, but they survived, everything was fine, and so the state.
Amy, while you're telling us about this, why don't you bring up the photos?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, indeed. I will put the screen on you.
I wonder what camera he had. What do the pros use to take pictures of models?
Probably a really expensive one, I'd have thought.
Yeah.
Right, cool. So, so yeah, I'll go through.
Wow, awesome. So, are some of these pictures kind of exclusive that we're watching now, or because they couldn't use all the pictures that they took?
Yeah, no, these are just pictures that I've taken myself.
Wow, they look so good.
Thank you. So yeah, they asked me to take them down, so they stayed there for a few weeks, and we'd not have in my army for I used in the store and everything. So there's the Dreadsaurian himself.
Amy, go back one. Just a sec. What's that? I've never seen that model before.
It's just a conversion from parts from the Troglodon kit and a few of I think the Stegodon one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, just made it up as a sort of second Stink Priest in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like some ichor coming out of his mouth there?
Yeah, it's basically UHU glue. So it's a type of glue that they have in the UK, which is like a really strong glue, and it's really good for making kind of like spit effects. So the way you do it is kind of put it onto, I don't know, like a palette or something, and then you can use like a paper clip and sort of dab it on from one tooth to the other tooth and just keep going and as much as you can, and then I basically coated his tongue in gloss to make it look wet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to add a bit of an extra special effect on him just to make him look
nice, isn't it? When you paint bigger models, you can really get into detail, like what's in their mouths and things that you can't do when it's a small model.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of the things that's most eye-catching about your army is the basing, because it's quite uniform but unique. And we've often said that like the basing's 1/3 of the miniature in a way.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a good picture there. You can see all the bases together. But yeah, I mean the first models I ever well, the first models I technically started with a Hobbit, but then the first models I kind of that really got me into it were Space Wolves for 40k, and I was really wanted to make sure the bases looked really cool and dynamic, and so I did cracked ice bases. So since then, I kind of almost was like really obsessed with making the bases look really cool. And I mean, you know, as you say, when you put all your army down and all the bases look the same, I don't know, it just looks, it really does bring the army together. And I was really pleased that because obviously, you know, going along, you feel like it looks the same. But when I eventually put all my army together, before I took it down to Warhammer World, you know, looking at it, it did look really good and uniform together and everything. And
so how did you do those bases? What were you used there? 'Cause it's weird. It's like a moss kind of effect, isn't it?
yeah, basically it's just like texture paint. So to save money, what I basically use is like a homemade mix. So this is kind of also the same as what I've used for my ogres and my fire slayer bases. So basically got some for this one, yeah, for both it's the same sort of method. So I've got some grey paint, some sand, and some crushed oyster shells from the pet shop, which sounds random, but basically it just kind of adds that extra sort of material to the mixture. So basically get like a pot and just pour it all in, mix it together, and I've got these pots which kind of are airtight, so obviously the paint doesn't dry out. And yeah, just kind of put it on, and then for the Seraphon, it's washed with Celia green shade, and then dry brushed with Celestia grey and Terminatus stone. And then I also used one of the Forge World weathering powders, which was faded green. And you can I mean, because then what I did after that was I glazed them Waywatcher, but you can kind of see in areas like here, you can kind of see the faded green, and it just adds a little bit of variation to the bases. So once all that was dry, I basically glazed it all with Waywatcher and then did a final dry brush of Terminatus stone over the top.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's got bits of slate on the bases. I prefer slate to cork because I feel like it looks a lot more realistic.
Yeah.
Black stones. And then I just kind of and then I just kind of decided to put like little random bits of iconography on the ground and painted them kind of like a grey colour, because if you notice, so like for example, you know, on the actual models themselves, they're quite bright and shiny, and I wanted to kind of make them look quite almost like celestial and like they were putting all their magic into them, whereas the things on the floor was quite contrasting, being quite grey. So,
wow.
So yeah.
I noticed that you've got a little bit of everything. You've got everything in the range, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I think the only things that I didn't get were some of the like little characters. Like, was it? I can't remember. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Was it Tehehuin or something like that? The one with a heart in his hand.
Right.
I didn't try to get him, but I think there was a skink priest with feathers. But yeah, I pretty much wanted to go for one of everything if possible. Just to kind of, because I think the other thing with Age of Sigmar is, you know, I mean, I never played fantasy before, and so, you know, I didn't really have much experience, but I was told, and you know, from my partner, he used to play it a lot, and you know, he said he always found it difficult because if you ever wanted to start an army, you'd have to basically paint like loads of infantry, and so, and you know, that didn't really appeal to me. Right. So with Sigmar, because you could kind of basically have anything that you wanted in your army, I thought, well, what a cool idea to, you know, what a great idea to, you know, basically collect all the models that I want to paint and have as a collection. Because if you think about it in the terms of, if you think about, you know, the fluff, these characters exist, so therefore to me it seemed better to have a collection of everything rather than a collection of, you know, say certain units. So that's kind of why I went for that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly you lose the thrill when you're having to paint 50 skinks. Put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I painted 36 skinks for these one, and you know, towards the end, it was kind of getting a bit repetitive, but yeah, it was such a great project. And
what do you think of the cavalry riders there? You know, the what are they called? Those guys, can't remember.
They're now called Saurus Knights. I can't remember what they used to be called. Was it Cold One Riders?
Yeah, Cold One Knights, Saurus Knights. What do you think of those? Because there's kind of some people still like them, some people don't think they're great models. I like them myself. What about you?
I think they're pretty. Yeah, I think I do like them. I mean, I could probably see why some people probably don't like them. I mean, the steeds themselves maybe sometimes. I think it's down to their poses. I think some of their poses look a little bit strange. I'd probably say, but I don't know. I think they really do look cool, and in real life, all of them together. You know, I think they look good as models, and especially on round bases, it just makes them look so much better. Don't know what it is, but I don't know.
Amy, you've had a few games, right? Have you been able to field all of the models you painted in this army?
I think so. I think I've used all of them. Obviously not at the same time, because I'd struggled to fit them on the board. But yeah, I think I've pretty much played with most of them. I think, yeah.
How have you fared in battle?
I think whenever I've used, this is funny really, because whenever I've used my Seraphon, I think I've won pretty much nearly all of my games. But when I've played with my ogres, I've never won a game. And that's weird really, because you think about how strong the ogres are on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the style the army plays like, whether, you know. So I don't know. I've not really played too many games with the ogres, so I need to sort of check them out. But funnily enough, actually, I'm playing with the ogres and my fire slayers tomorrow night. So
Cool.
I'll let you guys know how that went.
Definitely. Take some photos as well.
Yeah, I will be doing. Yeah.
I'm loving the lime green.
Yeah, on the feathers. Yeah, I really wanted to kind of make like some, you know, kind of like a spot colour.
Yeah. How did you make that?
It's basically just using two colours, so moot green and flash gits yellow.
Yeah.
So you start off by putting the moot green on the palette, thinning it down with either water or Lamy and medium. I use both, and sometimes I use Lamy and medium if I don't want it to be really thin, because I find whenever I use that, it's not as thin. And yeah, so you basically keep adding progressive lots of flash gits yellow into the mix until it starts to become more yellow, and then switch to flash gits yellow, adding a bit of moot green, and just kind of blending it up until you get pretty much to yellow at the top. And then I glazed it with Waywatcher green just to kind of make that colour transition go quite smoothly. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love Waywatcher green. I use it so often now since I discovered it.
I've got to start using that a lot more, for sure. But how long did it take you, Amy, to paint each model?
It just depends. I mean, it depends, you know, how much time I've got to paint and how busy I am, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I never really kind of. I've been asked that question sometimes, especially people like to ask it in hours, like how many hours did it take you? And I think I don't really know. I don't really count the hours that I paint.
Right. You just zone out and then don't remember how much time passed.
Yeah. So
do you paint them one at a time, or do you have a little process going where you do, you know, all the base coats and then you do it? I can't remember what do you call that term when you do them in batch? Do you batch paint them?
It depends obviously what models there are. If I'm painting like 10 skinks, for example, I'd probably batch paint them because they're pretty simple.
Yeah.
The Saurus Knights, when I did them, I remember, and especially the Temple Guard as well, I remember just being so tired of painting them because there's so much detail on them. I think when they're the Temple Guard just before I've lost them now, but yeah, they were like, it was so difficult to kind of paint them because of all the different details, and it got tiring. So I think I kind of brought that down to 2 at a time because I had 8 of them. But it just depends how I'm feeling, really.
I mean, regardless, it's like you've got your arm is completed with a lot of dedication. I mean, I've got a real wandering eye when it comes to painting. I'll paint a couple of orcs, and then I might do a bit on a dwarf, and then I might, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
hodgepodge, but you seem so focused. How do you keep that focus going?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm completely focused on one army because, I mean, while I was still painting my Seraphon, I bought my ogres, and while I've kind of come to the middle of my ogres that I've got, I was enticed by the Fire Slayers. So I guess I wouldn't say I'm completely dedicated, but I think it's because I've seen how the Seraphon are, and how that project came out. I think that really motivated me. But just in general, I do. It's like I get asked this quite a lot. How do you find the time? And I don't really find the time. I just make time for it. Because of
You mind me asking, Amy? Do you have a job?
Yes, I'm currently training to be a psychologist, so I'm doing a doctorate at the minute. So it's quite a demanding job. Lots of different competing demands, full-time clinical work, and university.
And you're studying as well.
Yeah, and research, planning my thesis. So, in psychology, they teach us about self-care and how important that is because you need to look after yourself when you're looking after other people. And so I make sure I paint every day if I can, because it's just so important to just take that time out and make sure you're doing things that you enjoy.
Yeah. I totally vibe with that because one of the topics of conversation on the Warhammer YouTubers is that is hobbying for therapy. So a lot of different wargamers, have all sorts of backgrounds and things that haven't gone quite right in their life, for example, and painting is a way of kind of a therapy. So I can totally understand that.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, they do art therapy in psychology, so I can't see why miniature painting is any different.
The reason why I asked you about the job thing is that this is a great you could make a living from just painting, right?
I don't know. I've never really considered it. I don't know if I'd want to. Because
Are they precious to you, Amy? Are they precious?
I don't know. I don't think I'd ever. I don't know. I think I enjoy painting models for myself, and it's like I've been asked a few times if I ever sell my models that I do, and I never would sell them because the meaning that they have and how much time and dedication I've put into them. It's almost like I don't know why I would ever think of wanting to sell them. And
what if some mystery buyer said, "All right, I'll give you £3,000 for your Seraphon eye"?
I'd probably consider it, but then I'd also, I don't know. I feel like I'd want the money, but also want to keep them. So I don't think that would work. But yeah, I don't know. I think if that ever happened, I'd consider it. But honestly, I think I'd probably say no because I think they mean so much to me, and how much Because if it wasn't for my Seraphon, then I would have, I'd never have achieved the things that I have been very fortunate and lucky to achieve, and it's I don't know. I feel like I want to keep them until I'm grey and old and show the grandkids, and I don't know. I don't think I would ever get rid of them.
I mean, the thing is, Amy, the way you're going, right, in 2 years' time, you're going to have every army out there fully painted, and it's going to look awesome.
Yeah, I know. I do think that. And to be honest, I mean, you should see how flat it's pretty much. There's Warhammer everywhere.
By the way, this Arco model you've painted is superb. It really is.
Thank you very much.
That's one I've seen.
Indeed. Yeah, commission painting is a whole different, what do you say, can of beans, I guess. Because once you start painting under pressure, painting for other people that hand you money for it, and you really have to get in those hours and like paint those models, no matter if you feel like painting or not, it becomes it becomes hard. Like,
Yeah, cool.
I did a lot of commission painting in the past, and it destroyed my soul
I
at
can
points.
I can understand that. I mean, Amy, imagine like you on the strength of what you've done, somebody wants you to paint another Archaon.
Yeah,
You spend,
and you have to do it all again. You're just like, oh
yeah,
no.
and you do it, and you do a great job, and then you get a couple more commissions. They want 2 more Archaon models.
Mm.
Yeah, just paint it like you painted the other one for that and that person, and you just have to do it all again.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
nuts.
it was fun to paint, but I mean, it took a while, especially the wings. I mean, when I painted the sort of membranes of the wings, I decided, right, I'm not going to be neat. And I kind of regret it because it really was a pain trying to paint the black back in. I mean, I could have left it, but I did like the black, and I think it separated it well. But yeah, there were parts of it which felt like they just took forever, and especially like the runes.
Yeah.
It was like Mephiston red everywhere. I mean, look at them all. I mean, I should have counted them really. And then it was, I think it was Trollslayer orange, and then it was Uriel yellow, and then it was white, and then I went and glazed them 2 or 3 times. So it was long, but it was so worth it. I'm so proud of it. I think it was one of the best models that I've ever painted, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. So, are you going to go with a Chaos Army now? You've got this sort of flagship model.
I did consider it, but I've bought. I'll stop sharing for now. I bought the Varangard, and
Okay. What are they like?
I've not built them yet.
Yeah, they look like crazy hard models to paint. They look amazing though.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit dubious about starting them, because they do seem to be quite hard to paint. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I've also bought the Zinch guy, which is here, which just built him, but I've not really done anything with him.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's neat. He's neat. I like him.
See, Amy, I can see it happening to you already. You're falling into the trap. You painted one army, you've finished another one, or nearly finished another one, and you're buying models from a third army.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah.
You already got the Fire Slayer. That makes 4 armies. You're
Yeah.
not playing it. There's a little, don't fall into that trap, because you'll end up with hundreds of unpainted models.
I do feel like I am kind of falling into that trap at the minute, but yeah. I'm hoping they don't release more nice models, like the new armies and things, because I don't know what I'll do.
I actually managed at the end of last year, for the first time in 20 years, to have all my current projects finished. Like, no unpainted models left, except for like 1 orc shaman, and that was it. And now you can already see the boxes behind me,
Yeah.
like other side, like there. It's already piling up again, and
Oh, no.
we are just barely in February right now.
I know. I mean,
So-
I've kind of made that vow. I've stuck to it as well, because I was so tempted to buy them Fire Slayers, but I've got way too many miniatures and armies, and
Yeah.
they're stuck. I mean, it's. I seen this post on Facebook someone put up there. Haven't had a drink since Christmas. That's kind of me with Warhammer miniatures. I'm staying out of it. I'm not saying I'm not tempted. I'm very tempted, but I've either got to sell a bunch, which, like you, Amy, I'm attached to the ones that I've painted.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're going to get to see them all in these battle reports, and with me and Andy, we've already reached a good goal with our patron campaign.
Indeed.
And so we're going to be producing 2 battle reports a month, and that could go up. So we're going to start that next week. We're going to start filming the first battle report. I'm not sure whether it's going to be pictures or film and pictures or both, but it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to bring up my orcs and my dark elves for that one.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually also backing the Patreon, so
Bless your heart.
looking forward to that. That's also the reason why I am here today instead of Andy, because I bought my way in because of the untold amount of cash that I donated. I got to buy Andy out of the show, and now I'm in here. And we all saw how well that went. No, I didn't. He will be back next week.
Well, if you want to know where Andy actually is hiding, he's at a Reeves and Mortimer show.
Mm.
A live show. It sounds pretty fun to me, but isn't the first show he's missed in, like, it's going to be a year.
Yeah, he was super consistent with it, just every week. So we have to cut him some slack here. Because he really did it.
He's done brilliantly. You know, he's roped me into this show, and you know, consistency is not a word I'm associated with particularly. But,
yeah.
Helped me become that. You know.
Me neither. I couldn't do it every week. I mean, my live shows are just randomly scattered through the months. There might be one or two, but that's it. Just on random days.
On the subject of Andy, I've got some things to share with you guys or read.
Yeah.
So let me just get my screen going here.
I will put the camera on you.
Oh, I was going to do it from here. Do it from here.
There we go.
So I'm sharing now, and you can see this page. I'm on here. This is our Facebook page. Can you see that?
Yes, it's there. It's there. I've put you on full screen.
It's the Andy and Rem show. Our own Facebook page, which has got some real cool activity on it. And you know, I've got to say, it's just been going crazy for RemCon. And if you don't know what RemCon is, it's a brand new Age of Sigmar event, you know, full of fun for all comers at Warhammer World.
Right.
And, you know, we've had some leaked pictures come through. Obviously, this is an advert for tonight's show. But, you know, Andy's doing a side event. Some brilliant halflings up there. We'll maybe come to that in a bit. There's a kind of a side event show going on called Andy Palooza. Yeah, Andy's been really busy trying to promote that event, so I thought I ought to give him a shout out. And he's put up a couple of posts here. You have to scroll down. Oh look, we just keep seeing this thing for RemCon. It just looks awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah, the legend.
So yeah, this guy, he's a bit of an amateur when it comes to promoting stuff. A weekend you'll never forget. Apparently Mahatma Gandhi said that about Andy Palooza. And there's the man himself. And, you know, I don't have much to do with this event, although I did take that picture of Andy pretending to be Jesus Christ in front of the statue of a Sigmar warrior. And,
I like that he has like a random zebra in the background or whatever that is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of wildlife, you know, booked to come to that event. Put it that way.
Yeah, there better be zebras at Andy Palooza.
Yeah.
You will be disappointed.
So yeah, that's Andy Palooza, and you know, Andy started this like hate campaign against me. So what can I say? RemCon, man with Legend. He spelled that wrong. That's kind of like a joke. And he's put me next to Donald Trump. Donald Trump of Warhammer, and I'm really into really badly painted models, which I can exclusively share with you guys. Are Andy's models, not mine. So you know, that's the kind of the depths that Andy's been sinking to promote his event. And you know, this is the event in question. This is the RemCon. It's going to be amazing.
It reminds me a bit of like those posters that I see sometimes for like 30+ disco party.
Well, you know what I mean. Oh, what's that? Okay, so here's another exclusive we can share with you guys. Here's some prizes we've put together just for RemCon.
Is that you on top? Did
No,
you get a bit more chubby?
No, that's someone that's working for me at the moment. He's just sorting through it all, but there's a bit of everything there. So I mean, just turning up to the event, you're basically a winner. There's stuff for everybody there.
Right.
And then another exclusive for you guys, if that lets me shut it. There you go. is the thing that Andy's decided to put up as his prize, which is basically a twig with a painted Thomas the Tank Engine face on it. So yeah, that's what you may get if you win at Andy Palooza. And look at some of the comments here. Penny Blake says, "Now I'm definitely going to Andy Palooza. I love unique handmade gifts. So much better than mass-produced crap on other gaming events we could mention."
It's a pretty sweet conversion, though, for like a tree lord or something.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get creative, I guess. If you're looking at sort of substandard prizes, you've got to just work with what you have there. So, what can I say?
Alright.
Is an awesome picture, and it's being made actually just for RemCon itself, and it's a gaming table, which you can see at Warhammer World, which looks pretty friggin' awesome if you ask me. So you come to RemCon and you may get to play at this table. I think a great prize in itself.
That is pretty neat. I like how they like grayed out the background. Like all the other tables don't even matter anymore. It's only that table that it's all about now.
I mean, there's some pretty cool tables there, but this one is going to be fully booked, I can imagine, for a long time. So,
Yeah, it has quite the phallic tower.
No, you had such a kinky mind there. But, and another exclusive, of course, is a picture taken from one of Andy Palooza's event tables. So you can see that. News just in, a leaked image of a gaming table at Andy Palooza. A picture says 1,000 words, but one will do. Pants.
Well, maybe it's like negative promotion. You will just surprise everyone with a cascade of like surprises and like ginormous tables that he's building in secret right now.
Well,
Like 10-foot by 10-foot tables.
You got to kind of be optimistic about these things, haven't you? So Andy's got a lot to answer for. When he comes back next week, he'll be giving it the big one. But you've seen behind the scenes exclusive the difference between the two events. But you're all welcome to come.
He told me to cut you off when you start talking about RemCon, but obviously I didn't do it.
But we're looking at some dates. We're looking at maybe Easter time or summertime. So there's going to be plenty more hype coming your way.
Yeah, that sounds good. Actually, sounds like a cool event. A cool event for the community too. To get together, see faces that you maybe only saw in chat before, and have some games with them.
Absolutely. And the RemCon Palace of Dreams is only a 20-minute drive away, so we could all have an after party going on there as well. I don't know what Andy's got planned, but whatever with that.
There will be people sleeping in your bathtub and under your kitchen table and everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It will be. I'm pretty sure it will be. So we have pretty much reached an hour. Do we have more urgent stuff we really need to get out there into the world right now?
Well, I've recently downloaded the audiobooks. And I really enjoyed listening to them, but I mean, the only downside is that 3 hours goes really quickly.
Yeah.
So they're quite a lot of money to buy, and they're really, really well done. So next week, maybe we can just play a clip. I was going to play a clip for you guys of Nagash's voice, which is pretty cool. But as you can see there, this is the brand new one, the Wardens of the
Yes, there we go.
Which looks pretty awesome. This is all about the Sylvaneth and the Elf Queen. Is it Ilario? Can't remember her name.
I don't know. Which is a nice change, just not having stories about purely Stormcast the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's going to be a lot of green in this novel because you've got the wood folk and you've got Nurgle's army, which are also green. which
Maybe they will print it in green.
yeah, they're setting about destroying the realm of what's left of the Sylvaneth. So whether elves actually make an appearance, we don't know, but tree men and dryads certainly do.
Indeed, indeed. Which is an army I was really tempted to start, but luckily I could just hold myself back and not do it. Have too many models as it is.
Mm.
All right. All right. Yeah, I think we are at a good point to wrap it up right now and let the show go on to record so people can actually see it and enjoy it for what it is. And I still had a good time, even though we had that technical hiccup and it made me really bad, but it's all right.
It's all good. I mean, it's been brilliant chatting. And Amy, thanks so much for coming on the show. Let's hope it's the first appearance of many.
Yeah, that's fine. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me. I think it's a shame that we didn't have the audience. Maybe we can do it again.
Yeah, I missed the audience the whole time. I was so sad that they were not here.
Absolutely. Maybe next Tuesday you can both come back on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will work next Tuesday. Whatever happened this time, it has happened to other people who ran Hangouts too, so who knows. But yeah, as always, don't forget to leave a comment down there after you watch the show. And yeah, I hope you all had a good time. And any last words?
It's time for me to play you out with a song.
Yes, I will put our trusty picture up again.
Okay, now, Dready, when the song starts to go badly, that's when you click the off switch, okay?
All right.
All right. Cheers for watching, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
When you were young and your heart was an open book, you used to say Remington Steele. You know you did, you know you did, you know you did. And if this ever-changing world in which we live in makes you give in and cry, it's Remington.